Hey developer, ready to supercharge your JavaScript skills? In today's video, we will dive deep into the world of JavaScript workers. Whether you are a junior dev eager to explore the magic or an expert looking for advanced tips, these videos got your covered. What are JavaScript workers? How can they turbocharge your app's performance? Stick around as we unravel the secret step by step. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's enhance the true potential of JavaScript Worker together. Let's get started. As many of us already know, JavaScript is single thread, and if you don't handle in the best way, in the right way, your code base, you can have code that doesn't run when you expected. For instance, imagine you want to show in your terminal every 500 milliseconds the difference between the last time you have called the interval and the current time. So there is a simple interval that every 500 milliseconds check the now and calculate the difference between now and the last time, and then print it in the console, and last but not least set the last time to now and do this every 500 milliseconds. In the meanwhile, your code base, for instance, calculate the Fibonacci series of the 45th element. The implementation is pretty simple. Is a recursion iteration, is a recursion implementation. As you can see, if you already know Fibonacci, if the number is less than 1, return 1, and then calculate the series and so on. So the expectation here is that the code base run the Fibonacci series, and in the meanwhile I can see the interval of the time between our interval. So if I run the code in my terminal, for instance, the result, as you can see, is not like expected. As you can see in the terminal, there is nothing that appears after 500 milliseconds, but only the result of the Fibonacci series after 8 seconds, as you can see here. 8 seconds to run the Fibonacci series, and no interval console after 500 milliseconds. This because the Fibonacci series took all the thread to calculate the series, and there is no space for calculate the set interval in your during the running of your application. So to do this, we can, for instance, use the worker to split the calculation of the Fibonacci in another thread of JavaScript. So what I mean now is that JavaScript is not only a single thread, but you can also run it in another thread if you want, and try to left the main thread free, and in this case you can see the interval after message, and also calculate in parallel the Fibonacci series. How? Let's see it in action. Okay. So I created this example using Node, but if you want to run this on your browser, it's pretty the same. You have only to change the import and use the right class or object for the browser instance. By the way, let's start from here. So I import the worker, and then I create my set interval that every 500 milliseconds print in the console the difference between the last interval and the current interval. Then using the new worker, I import the script. In this case, I import the worker, and I say to the worker is in this script in the worker.js, and use the import.metadata URL for the path. Then I have to pass to this worker also the input for run the execution of it. So in this case, the worker data accept the parameter for your worker. In this case, the n is the Fibonacci value that I want to calculate, and the value is 45. Then using message, worker and in reality the worker and the main thread can talk one to each other. When a worker wants to send a message to a main thread, post a message, and using the on message, the main thread can receive the message. If something were wrong during the execution of the worker, using the on error message, you can using the on in the error message, you can handle the error, and when the worker stop to work and exit from its execution, call the exit event, and in the main thread you can handle it. In this case, we can exit with the code 0 and the code that we receive from the worker, and in this case we can clear the interval and exit from our execution. The code in the worker is pretty simple, so I import the Fibonacci series that is the same that we already seen before. Then I import the parent port and the worker data from node worker thread in this case. In this case, console.log is used to print in the console that the worker start to run. Then using the worker data, we can destructure it and get the parameter, in this case the n value that we pass from the main thread, and then we can call Fibonacci with this value and get the result. And when we have the result, we can call the parent port, and using the post message we can send the result to the main thread using the message event. And as you can see, the result now is this one. So I can call node source index.js, and as you can see, there is the worker.js message. Then every 500 milliseconds there is the interval message, and at the end there is the Fibonacci result and the exit code to 0. As you can see now, the result is like expected. So we have the interval and the right calculation of the Fibonacci. Okay, I show you how worker works in JavaScript, but sometimes before jump in the worker solution, maybe you have to understand if you can improve your JavaScript code. For instance, I went back to the synchronous example. As you can see now, there is the Fibonacci code in the sync example, and I simple change the Fibonacci from a recursion implementation to a simple while implementation. And as you can see, now the result it's completely different. The time of execution of the Fibonacci is less than some millisecond probably. And as you can see, sometimes before jump in the worker solution, maybe try to understand if you can improve your code base, and maybe if you can improve it, you can prevent, or you can decide to don't jump in the worker solution, because the worker solution is pretty fine and perfect, but sometimes create some complication in your code base, because you have to handle this asynchronous message, you have to understand how to handle this message and so on. So sometimes before jumping the worker, please understand if you can improve your code base, and if you can improve it, and then understand if you have to go in the worker solution, or you can simply use the new refactor, because the code is faster than before. So I hope you enjoyed this introduction on worker, and now it's time to jump in the conclusion. And boom, there you have it, fellow developer. We've unleashed the power of JavaScript Workers. Now it's your turn to wield this incredible tool and level up your web development games. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of JavaScript Workers, smash the like button and share the knowledge with your fellow developers. Subscribe for more deep dive into the tech universe and ring the notification bell to stay ahead of the coding curve. Until next time, happy coding and may your bugs be minimal. Bye bye!